Hey! Hi everyone, this is Luxdos, and today we're taking a look at my Battle for Azeroth Warlock WeakAuras. We're gonna cover Warlock rotations, cooldown, interrupts, utilities, and a lot more. So, let's get started. First, we're gonna need to install an add-on called WeakAuras. I'm gonna let you do that on yourself. It's pretty easy. You can go on Curse or on Twitch add-on. It's pretty easy. Just install the latest version, which is working right now for pre-patch and for Battle for Azeroth. Just install it, restart the game, and get going with this video. So, first we need to load up WeakAuras. Just type /WA. We're in WeakAuras right now. And then we're gonna go grab the imports that we need to make this work. So this time around, I'm using another website instead of Pastebin. This is going to be a little easier. All my Rogue WeakAuras and my Warlock WeakAuras and every other WeakAuras that I'm going to build in the future are going to be on this website. This is going to assure you that they get updated, so you can just simply copy the string if they ever get updated, and you'll get the latest version, which is going to be very helpful. Let's start with the Warlock resources. So simply hit copy string. Get back into World of Warcraft, import, Control V to paste. This is gonna lag a little. If you don't have a very good computer, this is gonna freeze until everything is loaded. This is normal. So it's letting you know that everything is important. This is good. Import. There you go. Okay, next we're gonna import Warlock specifics. Same thing, copy. Go back to WoW, new, import, Control V, import. Next, Warlock utilities. Copy string, new, import, Control V, import. Warlock's cooldown, so simply copy the string and do the same thing over again. By now you should be understanding how this works. And you do the same thing for all 6 group. Okay. So right now you only see 3 groups. That's because they are not loaded. There is 3 of them that are not loaded because we are currently not in combat. So as you can see, this is the default state of the WeakAuras UI. We're currently Affliction, and it's simply showing us how many soul shard do we have, and showing us some simple utility icon, and this summon demon icon. So as you can see, I don't have any pet summoned yet, so I'm gonna go ahead and do that. That's a friendly reminder that you need to summon one. There you go. That's gone. Let's get into combat. I'm gonna show you my talent real quick. Okay, so let's apply some dot. Okay, let's get some dot rolling. As you can see, I'm simply tracking the 3 first important dot for Warlock. And yeah, so you're probably wondering where the hell is Unstable Affliction. As you may know, you can get up to 5 Unstable Affliction on a single target. And you want to track every single one of these. So what I went ahead and did is, you see these little bar right over your current soul shard and your current UI. These are for Unstable Affliction. There you go. So these are going to track your Unstable Affliction on your target. Then you can pop your CDs, Deadbolt. You can even pop this one. There you go. So it's tracking Summon Dark Glare and my other cooldown, which is Dark Soul. Yeah, that's right. And there you go. It's pretty simple. It's tracking your dots, and it's letting you know when you can safely refresh them with Pandemic. So as soon as it's going to go in the threshold for 30%, it's going to let you know that you can safely refresh them. That's pretty much it. It's simple. Right here, it's standard DPS cooldown tracking. So we're going to have our cooldowns being shown there. On the right, we're going to see interrupts. So we're going to see Shadow Fury. We're going to see Death Coil, and we're even going to track Command Demon. This is not an interrupt, but on most pet it is. So I'm simply putting it there. It's going to update itself for every single demon that you summon. So right now I have a Himp. I can dispel myself, or not single magic. So yeah, that's pretty much it. This is really simple, really straightforward, and it's working perfectly fine. So right now I'm doing Deadbolt, but what happens if I do Nightfall? Well, this is simple. You're simply gonna get a Nightfall icon, and as soon as you get a Nightfall procs, which I hope I get soon for the sake of this video, as soon as you get a proc, it's gonna light up, letting you know how much time you have before you can use it, but it's gonna glow because you should probably use it on cooldown. So this is pretty straightforward. Yet again, we're gonna go on Drain Soul. Drain Soul is a bit particular. It's not gonna do anything on its own, but as soon as your target hits 20%, it's gonna start lighting up, letting you know that you're currently in an execute phase. That's pretty much it. There's no other information that you really need to know about this row. So the next row is going to be simply Siphon Life, Absolute Corruption, and Rife in Agony. If you don't pick Siphon Life, it's simply going to show a gray icon for both of these, since Corruption and Agony are already being tracked up. So yeah, these are simply going to show a gray icon, letting you know that you have a passive talent selected. That's good for streamer, so people know what spec you're playing, and that's so good for yourself, so you're not wondering where the hell is your Siphon Life gone. The next row is going to be simply Burning Rush and Dark Pact, which are going to be tracked. Dark Pact is simply going to tell you how much time remaining there is on your buff on yourself, and Burning Rush is simply going to show you if you have it active, so you know why the hell you're using HP. Next row, I'm not tracking Phantom Singularity and Vile Taint, and here is why. First, I don't have any more space in the UI, and I don't want it to feel clustered. So even though that would be a sixth, an additional button to show up in the UI, I don't think it's relevant because these are situational. You don't want to press them on cooldown, you want to have an AoE component to it. So I'm simply not tracking them. You can simply keep an eye on your default UI or whatever UI you're using to keep track of these. I don't want the WeakAuras to feel clustered, and so that you don't get lost by looking at them. So yeah, that's pretty much it. Next row is simply going to be Mortal Coil, Demonic Circle. If you do pick Demonic Circle, you're going to get a new icon letting you know how much time you have left before you can use it again. Next row is going to be Shadow Embrace, Hunt, and Grimoire of Sacrifice. So right now, Shadow Embrace is simply showing you the stack on the target. So if I do a Shadow Bolt or Drain Soul, it's going to simply rise up and letting you know how much time left there is. Same thing for Hunt. It's pretty straightforward. It's going to glow when you can use it. It's going to let you know how much time there is on the duration of the debuff on the target. It lines up perfectly with the cooldown right now, but if they ever change it, you're at least going to be able to track the bursting window. Because right now you can simply press it on cooldown and the debuff is always up. So that's pretty much it. Grimoire of Sacrifice is simply going to show you a glowing icon if you don't have a sacrificed pet. And otherwise it's simply going to show you the remaining time on sacrifice. So Conduit, Creeping Death, and Dark Soul Misery. The only one being tracked is the cooldown Dark Soul Misery. So that's pretty much it. Affliction is very straightforward. Dot tracking. Let's get on with Demonology, shall we? Demonology is pretty straightforward also. It's the same UI, so let's go ahead and summon a pet to get rid of this icon. Okay, let's get in combat. I'll build some combo points. Okay, so let me explain the UI real quick. The first one is going to be, of course, End of Gul'dan. It's going to let me know how much Soul Shard I have, and it's only going to glow if it's over 3. So if it's at 2, you should not be casting End of Gul'dan. If this ever change, you can simply change it in the WeakAuras. I'm going to show you how. So every time you get over 3 Soul Shard, it's going to tell you, hey, buddy, cast End of Gul'dan. There you go. That's pretty straightforward. you should probably press Call Dreadstalker on cooldown also. So this one is going to light up whenever it's available. So if I press it, then it goes on cooldown and you can no longer cast it. We're going to see what happens if it's coming back off cooldown, but you don't have the Soul Shard requirement. So here is what happened. I'm going to simply keep myself in combat, and I'm going to show you. So right now it's... Oh, we got a special case. We have Demonic Calling, which is reducing the cost of Dreadstalker by 1 Soul Shard. So right now what's happening is I can cast Dreadstalker with 1 Soul Shard, so it's lighting up. So that's a custom trigger that I added. If you have the buff available, the conditions are going to be different for the trigger, so that's pretty nice. Next, I'm tracking, of course, Demonic Core. So we're going to be tracking how many of them you have, and it's going to light up when you can press it. This is something you should probably press, you should probably time with your cooldown, so it's going to light up and let you know how many you have available. So we're simply going to have one procced right here. There's going to be a stack counter at the bottom letting you know how much. There you go. So I have 2 right now, so I can spend my Soul Shard and use them. So I can do this and do this to make sure I don't overcap, and I can use it. There you go. Pretty simple. Next icon is going to be because of my talent row. So let's get started on those. First row is not tracked. So Bile Scourge and Demonic Strength are tracked as DPS cooldown. These are situational. So these are AoE cooldowns, and they're not something that you need to press on cooldown all the time. So that's pretty much it. Second row is where you saw the gray icon. I was using Demonic Calling. If I'm using Doom, for example, it's going to track Doom, how many cooldown there is left. And as soon as you hit the pandemic range, it's going to let you know that you can safely refresh it while still getting your Soul Shard back from it. Power Siphon is simply going to track the cooldown of Power Siphon. This row is the same thing as Affliction, so we're going to track a Dark Pack and Burning Rush cooldown. This row is simply going to track Soul Strike and Summon Vile Fiend. So if you go on cooldown, it's going to track Soul Strike, which you need to press on cooldown because it's a free Soul Shard. And yeah, that's pretty much it. It's going to be the exact same thing for Summon Vile Fiend. It's simply going to show up and glow because you need to press it on cooldown. This row is the same as Affliction, so Demonic Circle, Mortal Coil will be added to your interrupts or utility bar depending on which one you choose. Grimoire Felguard will simply be added to your DPS cooldown, while Soul Conduit and Inner Demon are simply passive, so you don't need to track them. They will not be tracked in the UI. This last one is the exact same thing, so Nether Portal is going to be the only one tracked as a DPS cooldown. The other 2 are simply passive. So, the special resources for Demonology is how many imps you have active. So since for Affliction and Destruction, I'm using this space to show additional information, I decided to simply make a black bar just to fill it in, and this is the number of imps that you have available. This is not a progress bar because you cannot have a max. There is no maximum of imps you can have out. So if you have Bloodlust, you're going to be able to get much more imp out, and if you don't, you're going to be limited to like 10 or something. So that's pretty much it. It's only going to show you how many imps you have, so you can time your Demonic Tyrant, or you know how many imps you're going to explode with Implosion. And then as soon as you Implosion, it refresh down to 0. Pretty straightforward. So that's pretty much it for Demonology. That's still a work in progress. I know there is more that could be done for this spec, but we're going to wait and see what happens with it, and we're going to make adjustment and update the WeakAuras. So make sure you come back and see if the code has been updated. Let's get going with Destruction. So we're going to get going with Destruction. Destruction is pretty straightforward also. We'll go ahead and summon a pet to get rid of this icon right there. Okay, let's get in combat by casting a simple Incinerate. Okay. Same concept. simple UI. I'm tracking the number of conflict rate that I have up. Since you need to spend them and never hit 2 stacks, it's glowing. So it's letting you know, hey, you should probably use one. There you go. You used one. Every time that you conflict rate, you get a stack of backdraft. Of course, unless you're using flashover, which is going to grant you an additional stack, but that's not the case right now. So I'm simply telling you to use it whenever you reach 2 stacks or a little before. That's where we're tracking it. Second icon right now is backdraft. And then we're using a simple tracking for immolate. So it's letting you know that you need to cast immolate on the target. There is also a pandemic glow. So as soon as you hit pandemic range, it's going to glow, and then you know that you need to cast it again. There you go. As soon as you consume your backdraft, it's simply going to go away. And then the next 2 icons are going to be talent based. So I'm tracking the first row because it's a pretty important rotational row. So it's either going to be Soulfire or Eradication, since Flashover is simply going to add a stack to this one. So Soulfire is simply going to track the cooldown because you need to press it on cooldown. So it's going to glow when it's off cooldown, and it's going to desaturate and gray out, when it's on cooldown. So as soon as it's off, it's going to glow again, letting you know that you need to press it. Eradication is simply going to be a debuff tracker. So, oh, I didn't leave combat. That's my bad. I can't while it's on cooldown. Okay. So it's simply going to track Eradication on the target. So as soon as your Chaos Bolt hit, Eradication is going to proc, letting you know that you should probably queue more Chaos Bolt back to back. Flashover is simply going to show a gray icon. Shadowburn and the other 2 talents, so Reverse Entropy, is simply going to track the buff that you have on yourself for 15% ace. Shadowburn is simply going to track the cooldown. So that's pretty simple. As soon as you have 2 charges, because it's the same behavior as conflict rate, you should cast Shadowburn. So it's going to glow every time that you hit maximum stack. There you go. The rest of the time, it's up to you. You need to manage your own resources. So this is going to be pretty straightforward. Dark Pact, Burning Rush, same thing. Cataclysm is going to be a DPS cooldown showing up right here. These 2 are not going to track anything because they're not in the main rotation bar. Demonic Circle, Mortal Coil, same as previous. This row is not getting tracked because there's nothing relevant in the rotation. And this row has 2 DPS cooldowns. So if you choose Channel Demon Fire or Dark Soul, they're going to both show up in the cooldown group. And Soul Conduit is not going to track anything. So that's pretty much it for Destruction. One more thing. You can see that you have a green bar here at the bottom. These bars, they're going to represent the number of Chaos Bolt that you can land. So they're going to simply track up how many times you can cast Chaos Bolt. So if you're building resources, now I can cast 2 Chaos Bolts. So if I hit Conflagrate twice to have 2 Flashover, I'm going to be able to cast 2 Chaos Bolt. There you go. Pretty straightforward. So these were my Warlock WeakAuras. I hope that you enjoyed them. So far, you guys have been giving me incredible feedback. The support has been amazing. I really hope we can keep this going. So if you guys like these WeakAuras, if you have feedback, just leave them down in the comment below. All the links to install and import these WeakAuras are also going to be in the link down in the description below. So you guys can like the video, subscribe to my channel, leave feedback. Might it be positive, negative, things to change, things to improve? That's what I'm looking for. So I'll see you guys next time, and good luck in BFA.